here today to put together our April Traveler's Notebook. This is the Plan With Me video. Generally what I suggest you do is get your supplies out and work right along with me, and we'll work together. I know there are a number of you that like to watch it first or watch it a couple times first and then get a feel for how everything is put together, and then you watch it again and kind of put it together as we go. So this month I am using the Simple Stories Bunnies and Baskets Simple Set, and it is a super cute, very themey, obviously, Easter, because, well, hello, Easter, right? We might as well make it super cute for Easter. So I'm using that simple set, and we're going to do a number of really fun things in this particular setup. You'll learn a new technique, we'll play with some ribbon and do lots of fun things. So let's get started. Now, I'll tell you, we're going to do something a little bit different. I, in my sample, have used the cream speckle. There we go. Black speckle, cream speckle. I can't remember what it's called. From Carpe Diem. Anyhow, it's cream with black speckles. But I thought it would be fun to show you what it would look like in a different traveler's notebook. So this is the blush speckle. Both Carpe Diem, my samples in the cream, we're going to make it together in the blush. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, usually what we do as we get started, we are cutting apart our papers. So let's do that. Let's bring in our trimmer. Again, I'm using my guillotine trimmer, and we're going to go ahead and cut the product strips off of all the papers. Now, you have 4 papers with the April kit. Now, normally we just start with 3, but we're going to make a fun pocket with the 4th. So let's start out by cutting off those product strips. Remember, if you watch the arch, we are saving those product strips. This we are going to use to cover one of our inserts to slip cover. So we can cut this at 8 1/4, 8.25, because it's the height of our insert. So we're going to cut that. We'll set both of those off to the side. This one, we're just going to cut the product strip off. We're not going to trim it yet. Actually, let's go ahead and trim it now. We're going to make a pocket with this, but I want that to be 12 inches wide, and it is going to be actually 12 inches tall, doesn't matter, by 10. I'm going to cut it 12 by 10. So it's already 12, and I'm going to cut it to 10. Now, it doesn't matter which way I do that. It is fine any way that I do that. So don't worry about whether you cut it from the right part. It is 12 by 10. And just make sure when we start working with them, one is way bigger than the other. So this is covering the insert that we're going to make the pocket out of. All right, then we've got this really fun egg paper. We're going to cut the product off of that one. And then on our element paper, because this is a simple set, it is a kind of pint-sized, super themey collection. What normally would be a 3x4 sheet is a mixture of 3x4s and 4x6s. So in this case, we are going to cut all of those out. So we will end up with 8 3x4 cards and 2 4x6s, one being horizontal and one being vertical. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to bring in my little guy. Right here. Just because it's a little bit easier to work with, and I think it's a little bit easier for you guys to see what I'm doing, although we're just cutting, so you don't really need to see that. Trim off the little ones. I mentioned this in my last video. This is a little guillotine trimmer made by Fiskars. I switched to guillotine trimmers years ago just because you never have to replace the blade, and they always are a super straight, super sharp cut. And this one I just bought on Amazon. Amazon's my friend. When we first moved in, depending on how long you've been with me, you may or may not know, but in June, we moved. We actually built a new house. We downsized. Well, I guess the right word for it now is right-sized. We downsized. But you guys are going to laugh. I honestly have no idea where I was going with that. It's going to come back to me. I know it will. It'll probably come back to me tomorrow morning when I'm in the shower and I'll be like, oh, I remember. Anyhow, never mind. That happens to all of us the older we get, right? So if I think about it, I'll tell you what this had to do with us moving. All right, so now let's go ahead and start decorating the pockets. So let's take these two 4x6s off to the side. We're gonna use this one. We're not gonna use that one, but let's put them off to the side for now. And I used this little basket, but I used the opposite side. So that is going in there. And then more cards, more cards, more cards. This card, oh, guess what? Let's take this back out. Let's do our outlining. I did it backwards in the last video. So let's do our outlining first here. And I go pretty quick. And I typically don't outline the bottom just because, well, you don't see the bottom. And this one, I'm not going to outline the top because it's going to end up being the bottom. Let's see. Then I also used, oh, this one. We're going to use part of. We're going to use the other cards, but we're going to do something fun with them. Oh, I lied. I just did the bottom of that one. I also need to come back. Oh, I know you guys, I know what you're saying. When I was cutting and had my trimmer out, you're like, wait a minute, why didn't she cut that other paper for a slip cover? Because I wasn't paying attention. So let's come back and cut this at 8 1/4. And the reason why I bring that up now is because I needed part of this. I need a 3x4 card out of this. So, 3x4 card-ish, it doesn't matter. I want it to be 3 wide. So there we go. Move this out of the way again. Okay. Because I need to outline this little guy. Those little eggs are so cute. And I love the design on this one. If on that paper, it has, look, super subtle. Can you see that? Well, you can see it on your paper, but there's like pink handwriting. Isn't that cool? And then look at this. And I cut this part off, but look at, it's like it's spritzed already for you. Isn't that cool? And I love the look of spritzing or spraying like that, but I hate to do it because I make a mess and then it's all over me and my fingers and it's just a mess. Anyhow. All right, so we might as well do this one because we're going to use this guy too. And I think that's the only cards we use. Well, use the way they are. We are going to do one of my favorite things on the rest of the cards. Well, some of the rest of the cards. And that is fussy cutting, you guys. So fussy cutting, if you are not familiar with that term, I put that guy there. I'm putting this guy in upside down though. I didn't want the Easter blessings there. I wanted that really fun plaid right there. So that's going there. And then my carrots. So my carrots are going, my carrots are too long. So you can either cut your carrots or fold them. I'm a lazy crafter, so I usually just fold. And then this little guy, this is gonna obviously be way too big. So again, I fold that piece that we cut. It's gonna go right there. So for now, that's good. Now we're gonna go to our fussy cutting. So fussy cutting, if that is a new term to you, that is where you take a pair of scissors and you cut objects out of a bigger piece of paper. Now, an example of that, and we're not going to do this, but maybe I really liked all these little flowers and I wanted to take my scissors and cut around those flowers. That would be fussy cutting. That's really fussy cutting because it's pretty small. These guys can also be fussy cut. We're cutting an object out of a larger piece of paper. Not as fussy though because bigger, right? So when it comes to fussy cutting, there's some things that you can do that will make life so much easier for you. The first thing is the type of scissors that you use. And I have a couple of examples here. I have a large pair of scissors. I have a small pair of scissors. And then I have these little tiny spring-loaded scissors. This is what I like to use for fussy cutting. These are made by a company called Elizabeth Crafts. And if you go to their website, I am actually, hopefully, in the process of opening an account with them so that I could offer these to you guys as an add-on with the kits in case you decided that you just wanted to buy them and have them with the kit and just ship once. Anyhow, any scissors will work, right? But obviously, when you're fussy cutting, typically the smaller the scissor, the easier it is to handle. And these, because they're spring-loaded, make it just really easy to cut. The second thing that makes it very, very easy when you are fussy cutting, I always leave, excuse me, a border. And when I say a border, in this example, and I'm just going to start cutting, you are going to see that I don't get all the way up to the white. I leave some of that blue. And I leave some of that blue because, number one, it's a heck of a lot easier than having to get all in tight next to the white. But number two, I kind of like the way it looks. It's kind of like, it looks like I mounted it on blue cardstock and then had a fancy dye and, you know, had a dye around it and stuff, which who's got time for that? Although you guys are probably saying, hello, you're fussy cutting. Who's got time for that? But you guys, these are so cute in a little pocket. So we're having fun. If you haven't fussy cut before, now you're getting indoctrinated into the fussy cutting club. And if you have fussy cut before, then you're just fussy cutting along with me. I really like to fussy cut. To me, it's like super relaxing. And sometimes, if I have a lot to fussy cut, I will like do it in front of Netflix. Now, when I craft, I have music on. I never have the TV on when I craft. I never have. It's just not my thing. I know a lot of you like to do that, but not my thing. I also typically craft by myself. It's just because it's my job, and sometimes it's just, you know, when I want to be with girlfriends, I don't want to work. So there's our little bunny. So our bunny's done. We are also cutting out this flower. So let's keep going. But anyhow, fussy cutting in front of Netflix. So some of us like to binge watch Netflix, right? And sometimes you feel super guilty because like literally an entire day could go by and you've been binge watching. Oh, I don't know. What do we binge watch these days? Oh, Ozark. Love Ozark. House of Cards, but then it kind of got weird. My gosh, I have a big list. I have a list on my phone that I look at. I have never watched, some of you are screaming, King of Thrones, King of Thrones. Never watched it. It's on a list, but we just have never watched it. I don't know why. Anyhow, so sometimes you're binge watching away and you feel kind of guilty because you feel like you're being totally unproductive. Well, you know what? That's a good time to fussy cut. I have been in the scrapbooking, crafting, planning, whatever you want to call it, industry for many years. I started scrapbooking way back when I was pregnant with our first son. We have two sons. Our first son turned 21 in January. So I had been scrapbooking more than 21 years. Isn't that crazy? Anyhow, years ago, there was a magazine called Paper Crafts. And it was a subsidiary of Creating Keepsakes magazine. They were a paper crafting magazine, card making and altered projects and all kinds of things like that. And they used to have special interest publications. Okay, we're still going, you guys. So I'm talking and we're just chit-chatting away. Now we're going to go on to our little lamb, and then we're going to move right on to this little our little chick. So we're going to end up with 4 fussy cut little characters here. And I'm going to keep talking. So I did a lot of work for Paper Crafts magazine because they were, they're local. I live in Utah, and I don't know, they were maybe about a half an hour away from them. And they had wonderful employees that I got to know very well. And I would do a lot of work for them. And one time they contacted me and said, hey, we're doing this special interest publication on home decor with paper crafting, and would you like to work on some things for us? And it was fun, but they also paid very well. So I'm like, oh, yes, I would. That would be lots of fun. And they said, okay, here's what we need. And they gave me a list of things. And they said, now, there's one thing that we need, and we would like you to provide you with a base to work on for this project. And I said, okay, great. And they said, it is a child's, so child size, wood Adirondack set. And I'm like, a what? And they said, an Adirondack set, you know, the chairs. And I said, oh no, I know what Adirondack chairs are. I know what that is, but you want me to paper craft a wooden Adirondack set? And they said, yes, we can't wait to see what you do with it. And I'm like, okay. And I went and picked it up, and it was child size. I mean, there were 2 wooden Adirondack chairs and a little table. And I'm looking at it like, oh my gosh, what in the world? I mean, this is a paper craft magazine. What in the world am I going to do to make this relevant? And so it was unfinished wood. First I painted it, and I think I just painted it with, you know, white paint or whatever. And then I thought, oh my gosh, you know what I'm going to do with this? I am going to decoupage it. So basically, I took Mod Podge, a lot, and I fussy cut flowers. And going back to, like, let's say this piece of paper that I showed you. The flowers that I fussy cut were a little bit larger than this, but not much. I fussy cut 75 pieces of 12 by 12 paper, cutting all of those, in this example, like I was cutting all of those flowers out. And I spent night after night after night after night after night fussy cutting those flowers out, you guys. And this was, I don't know, probably 15 years ago. I don't even know if these things existed. So I was using something like this. Actually, I think they were even bigger. And probably knowing me, I was using bigger scissors like this. And the reason I know that is because I lost the feeling in my thumb right here for a month because of this, that constant kind of repetitive fussy cutting motion. But you know what, you guys? It turned out it was the cutest stinking set that you have ever seen, honestly, in your life. It was darling. And I ended up giving it to my niece after it was in the magazine and stuff. So, fussy cutting. That's probably why I love it. But you know what? I didn't love it for a while after that because that was a lot. All right, so now we have our, excuse me. Hang on while I take a drink. Okay, now that we have our 4 little things fussy cut, we are going to come back to decorating our pockets. This little flower is going to go up here in the top. So right now, I'm just going to kind of set it in there. One of the things that I didn't mention in the March video was that generally, once I get everything in place, I will use a little tiny bit of tape runner to try to tack that in place. So for example, right here, I would just do that and put that right there. Now, if you didn't want to put that directly onto your traveler's notebook, you could put the adhesive on the back of your paper. It doesn't really matter though. Now, some of you may be like, I don't know if I want to do that to my traveler's notebook. And if you don't, then that's okay. Your little cards may just move around a little bit. But I have done this to traveler's notebooks for years, at least the Carpe Diem ones. And as of yet, never had a problem. It just, the adhesive rubs right off. And I don't use a ton, but that's kind of what I do there. All right, so we're going to put that little guy in there. And then our bunny rabbit is going to slide right in here. You'll notice I left that little bottom part on all of these guys actually. And I did that just so that there's a little bit more to anchor them in into the pocket. So there's our little bunny. And then our little chick is going to go over here. Don't worry about those little carrot tops. And then our little lamb is going to go right there. It's looking pretty cute so far, you guys, isn't it? Okay, so now let's do a couple things. Let's bring in the stickers. On the simple sets from Simple Stories, the stickers are always a 6 by 12 sheet. So about half the amount of stickers that we have in a larger full collection, but still so many fun things to work with. So I'm starting out with this flower sticker, and I'm going to go back and use some of my little pop dots or foam squares, foam adhesive. You might be working with foam tape, whatever it is. We just want a little bit of added extra lift or dimension. So I'm going to take a little backing off of those guys, and I'm going to put that right there. So now I kind of have a two-dimensional layered flower, right? And you can see, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bunny rabbit. He's holding a yellow Easter egg. There just so happens to be a yellow Easter egg sticker. So let's take a pop dot again there and do that. We're going to put that kind of right there. So it's layered on. Isn't that cute? Look at, can you see that? Super cute. Back in the pocket it goes. And then right here. So we have those kind of carrots that are sticking out, and I don't want those carrots to be shown. So I'm going to take this flower sticker, and this flower sticker I'm going to put right about there. Now, there's a little bit of orange showing through there, but you know what? That's okay because, and if I want, I can cover some of it up, but it just looks like it's part of a flower. Then I'm going to take this cute little sticker that says My Peeps. You guys know, like Peeps, the little sugar chicks. My Peeps, cute, right there. And then, oh, let's go back here. I'm going to take two more stickers, Simply the Tweetist and Hippity Hoppity. And those are going to go, Simply the Tweetist is going to go right there. So it's kind of above our little chick, tweet, tweet. And the Hippity Hoppity is going to go there. And then I'm going to take two more little Easter eggs, the pink one and the green one. I didn't use the blue one, but if you want to use the blue one, feel free to switch that out. Either one of those out. And then those are going to just kind of go right there. All right, so still moving around a bit because we haven't really secured anything in yet. Now, let's come down to the bottom here. And we're going to use this cute little title that says Happy Easter. Now, these are originally connected, so as you're removing them from the sticker sheet, be careful because they are in one piece. And you want to go ahead and pop out some of those letters, have centers in them that pop out, especially that big piece that's in between Happy and Easter. Now, Happy, it doesn't really fit. It would go way over the edge, but that's okay. That doesn't mean I can't use it. All I'm going to do is take out my little scissors. And I'm going to separate it. So I'm going to cut between the Happy and the Easter there. And I'm going to cut between it there. So then that way I can reposition that so it fits. So I'm going to put Happy right here. And then I'm going to put Easter right here. So it just kind of overlaps it a little bit, right? Still super cute, but then that way I just have more room. So it all fits together there. Then let's take this cute pinwheel. And I use the pink one. If you wanted to use the orange one, you could use the orange one, pink or orange. And that is going to go right here, kind of above the R. Fill up a little bit of that space. Then, in your little baggies, you guys had a baggie this month or for March and April that had a number of things in it. And in there you have one of these little tiny gems. And that little tiny gem you're going to put in the center of that little pinwheel. All right. Now, the last thing that we want to do for our pockets before we move on is we're going to give this cute little sheep a little bit of fur, this cute little lamb, because he needs some fur, right? So in comes the cotton ball. Now, I used a cotton ball in December and in January and now in April, just because I think it's a really fun way, easy way to add a little bit of extra dimension. So look at how cute our little lamb is once he has his little cotton on him. So let's go ahead and take that cotton ball. I'm going to take him out of the pocket. And I'm going to bring back in my little scratch piece that I've been using last month. And I'm going to take out my liquid adhesive. So I'm using again this month the Nouveau Clear Drying Craft Glue. It's called Deluxe Adhesive. It's just, I like it. It's nice to work with. So I'm just going to put enough on there to hold the little cotton in place. And I don't want to really cover up his little pink legs, his little gray legs, because I think they're cute to show. So let's put the lid back on that. And I just start pulling off pieces of that cotton ball and then put them down. Pull off a little bit more. I mean, I end up, you guys, maybe using, I mean, not even probably 1/8 of the cotton ball, just because I still want to be able to see some of the cute little color around him. So play with that. That adhesive is not going to dry so fast that you can't pull something off if you think he's too furry. You can give him a haircut. You can shear him if you need to. Anyhow. Then usually what I'll do is I'll just play around with that a little bit because those were individual pieces. I'll kind of move the cotton around a bit with my fingers just to kind of get those together so they don't look like they were 3 individual pieces. But isn't that the cutest thing, you guys? That little lamb. Okay, so now let's go back and we're going to put him back in the pocket. And there he goes. And I want, like I said, I want his little legs to kind of show still. So my pockets are done, but I do want to get a little bit of extra adhesive out, and I want to just tack some of these pieces down so they don't move around a lot. You know, you guys spend a lot of time decorating your pockets, and so, you know, just give them a little extra to help hold them in place so they don't, you know, move around or fall out. Do that to this little guy too. And you don't need much, really, you don't need much, just enough to make them stay until you're ready to take them out. And this little guy, oh, I should have done that before. Anyhow, we'll just do that. Okay. And then just a little bit right here. And my pocket is done. Okay. But look at you guys. So look at how fun. 2 totally different traveler's notebooks, but they're both cute. So you don't have to use the same traveler's notebook I do. Get out one of your traveler's notebooks. If you just have one, get it out. If you have multiples, get it out and see what you think might be cute. Okay, so next, we have an option here. I took this piece that was left over when we cut, and I cut it down to slide right into my little side pocket there. All right, I cut it to, this one I think I cut to 8, so it was a little bit, maybe a little bit too short. So 8 or 8 1/4 if you wanted, and then that could be a little decorator for your pocket. But remember, you can bring in your piece from March and put that in the pocket if you wanted, because remember, that is why I used that side, because those little flowers, that yellow, that pastel, coordinates really well. I think this is a little bit too long. That pastel coordinates really well with this collection. So cute, right? So you have a choice. You can decide what you want to do there. Either put that piece in or that piece. Okay, now let's move on to our insides. We're going to make 2 inserts and a pocket. So let's make our first insert. And we're going to use this side. I wanted to use this side here because I used this side here. Some of you are going, but wait, I really like this side. We're going to use this side for a really cool pocket. So I'm going to take this. Now, usually what I would be doing, again, I would be taking the inserts out of my March Traveler's Notebook, pulling off the slip covers from March, and then re-slip covering for April. But for simplicity's sake, I'm not going to take those off right now. I just happen to have 2 other inserts here, and I am going to slip cover these. So let's just kind of gently fold that in half. Open that back up. Fold in, and you have the washi that is on your popsicle stick. So about a 3-inch piece. Just to temporarily secure that until May, when we're ready to start again. get that straight. And I'm going to close that. Close it, fold it over, and then fold there. That way, again, I make sure that it is, and I'm going super quick for you guys there, but just to make sure that I have enough room and that lays flat when it's closed. So let's go back and get some more washi. There we go. Now, I want to show you guys this. When I saw this card with the ears, I thought it was so cute, and I thought, oh my gosh, you know what? I want to make bunny ears. Let's make some bunny ears out of ribbon that can go on there. So that is what we're going to do. And this is what they look like when you're done with them. Cute, right? And these are super easy to make. There are a couple of things that you may want to have with you before you start these that will help. I grabbed a stapler, and I also grabbed, hang on, where'd it go? Some tape, some red line tape. I think I put it away, hang on. Here it is. It's under my old trimmer. Okay, some red line tape. Now, you don't need tape like this. When we get there, I will show you what I use this for. If you have regular adhesive or tape runner, that would also work. If you don't have a tape runner and you're only using a glue stick, I might recommend that you grab your liquid adhesive because you want something that's going to be a little bit more sturdy. Okay. So what we're going to do, you have a 12 inches of ribbon here, and you have far more than you need. I've given you extras so you can play if you need to, or if you feel like you mess up and you want to start over, you have extra to play with. So I started out by cutting, let me back up for a second. You want some really sharp scissors. If you have fabric scissors, grab your fabric scissors. If you can sharpen your scissors, you can sharpen your scissors with, if you have a tool in the kitchen that you use to sharpen your knives with. A lot of times you can sharpen your scissors with. Anyhow, you want some sharper scissors so your ribbon isn't going to fray when you cut it. But I'm going to cut mine just let's see, that's maybe 1, 2, I'm going to say about 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches. I'm just going to cut that off. Okay. All right. Now, what I want to do, eventually, I'm going to gather it like this. And then you can see it's starting to make like a little ear, right? I'm going to gather it like this. But right now, my ear is flat across the top, right? I need to make it pointed so it looks like a bunny ear. So what I'm going to do, and I could, actually, I don't want to do that. I was going to fold it in half and just cut it once, but I think we might have a problem with the ribbon. So it just might not cut as crisp as you wanted it to. So basically, I'm just going to cut a point. Okay, there's one side of the point. I probably don't have the best scissors here either. Better scissors when I was doing this originally. Okay, anyhow, we're cutting a point. And my point isn't exactly even, and that's okay. So then I am going to gather that at the bottom, okay? So now you can see that looks like a little bunny ear, doesn't it? So I just gathered that at the bottom. When I gathered that at the bottom, that is when I brought in my stapler, just because I thought that was going to be the easiest way to try to keep that gathered together. So try that again. Okay. So I have stapled that together. There's one bunny ear. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to cut about a 2-inch piece. to cut off a triangle. Cut off a triangle to make a point, and gather at the bottom, and then staple. Uh-oh. All right, and I'm not really caring what this staple area looks like because we're gonna end up covering it up, but we do want it to stick. So there are my two little ears, right? My two little ears. Let's get all this mess out of the way. And now we are going to take one of our product strips that we cut when we were cutting our papers before, and I wanted to use this guy. So I am going to add my adhesive to the back of the bunny ears card, like so. And then I am going to cut this strip, and I want it to be maybe like a ½ an inch wider than the card. So, like so, because I want to cover up where those little bunny ears are going to go. All right. Now, the reason I had this red line tape is because it is super, super sturdy. Like I said, you do not have to have this. You just want a really good adhesive. So if you have either liquid adhesive or you want to use your tape runner, just make sure you get plenty of adhesive there because it has to hold down that ribbon and then the staples behind it. And then this is where I need my glasses again. Where did I put them? Oh, there we go. Okay. Just so I can see. To peel. There we go. Peel that off. Okay, so now I am going to take one of my ears and put it right there, and one of my ears and put it right there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just set those there right now. Then I'm going to grab that. Okay, so now I can see. I'm too long. So let's come down and cut part of that off. That was below. Oh, part of that was below. That guy. Oopsie. Yeah, that's really sticky. And then cut some of this off too because he's a little too long as well. Let's try that again. There. And there. Oh, no, he needs a little bit more because he came partly unstapled. Anyhow, you guys may end up playing with your little ears a little bit more, just so you get them right. That little angle isn't the greatest, but that's okay. For the sake of the video, I'm going to keep going. You guys don't need to watch me mess with the ears anymore. All right, so there, and we're going to kind of get them where we want them. Okay, there's an ear, and there's an ear. All right, so there are little ears. Now, you can make those bigger if you want. You can make them smaller. You can, oh, there's my hair again, as I'm trying to make sure I'm showing you the right thing so that you can see. So just play with those ears a little bit. Like I said, you have enough ribbon to make 2 sets of ears. So if you want to make a practice set first and then make a real set, do whatever that you need to do. Okay, now my marker, my Sharpie, what did I do? Oh, there we go. So I forgot. Now, I should have outlined that before because it'd make it a lot easier without my ears. There. Outline, outline, outline. Okay, now a couple more things we want to add to this insert. I need, oh, you know what? I did use the blue egg. So if you used the blue egg before, switch out your egg and put a different egg here. I did that, and then I wrote "Somebody Loves You" because perfect, right? Those are little bunny ears. And we're just going to put that kind of right there in the center, and then that little cute egg right next to it. Okay, and that's our first insert. So let's come back in and put it in our traveler's notebook. Cute, 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 right? Okay, let's now move to our next insert. And the next insert, we are using the cute eggs. Hello. Yeah, those are eggs. We're using the cute eggs, and I'm using this blank or lined notes insert. Again, those are just inserts that I had. They're not part of your kit. Those are available as add-ons. I think you guys know I always have lots of extra inserts that you can add onto your kit if you'd like. But those are ones that I just pulled out, so I have them handy, so I'm not uncovering March. Okay, and we're going to fold that over and grab some washi. And then closed. Add our washi. Okay. Now, and I obviously am going pretty quick on those, you guys, because my top's hanging out of that a little bit. You'll pay a little bit more attention and care as you're doing yours. I do my outline. And there we go. Now, I'm keeping this insert pretty simple. I have used this guy. Now, I didn't cut that. I've got a little tiny bit of blue on it for the card next to it. This one, though, I also mounted on this piece. So I need to cut 1/8 of an inch off of each of those edges. So I need to grab my big trimmer again. Things are getting messy up in here, you guys. I am a messy crafter. Messy, messy, messy. And then when I'm done with the project anymore, since we moved, it's really weird. I'm sure it's part of an age thing, but I have become such a neat freak, and everything has to be like right in the right spot. I give myself a little bit of latitude in my scrapbook room just because there's just a lot that goes on in here. But it is right inside of the front door of our house, so usually it has to be semi-clean. Now, I took 1/8 of an inch off, 1/8 of an inch off, and now I need to take 1/8 and 1/8, but I'm not going to do 1/8 and 1/8 because I don't have much room there. I have enough extra space there, so I'm going to do 1/4 off the top there. Or maybe I already did that. Oh, you guys, I'm so silly. I already did that. I did 1/4 and 1/8 around every edge. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I am going to adhesive and mount it on this card. I said there's a song called Rapper's Delight that I knew every word by heart when I was in 8th grade. And this first the first line of the song is what it's here. And you guys, I do not sing, but I'm gonna pretend. And the song says, I said a hip hop, a hippity the hip hip hop, you don't stop rapping to the blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's the song. I think this card is so cute because it has it on there. Now I'm going to outline, and as I'm outlining, I'm going to tell you a little tidbit, a little interesting fact. So you guys know the term hip hop, right? Do you ever wonder where that term came from and why that type of music is called hip hop? Well, way back in the day when I was in 8th grade, and that would have been, oh my gosh, let's see, I was born in 68, so it was early 80s, I guess, maybe. Anyhow, when that song came out. And there were record stores, there were still record stores, and people would go into the record store and say, hey, I want that song, that hip hop song, you know, the song that says a hip, a hop, and then they started singing it. And that is how the term hip hop was derived for that style of music. I thought that was kind of an interesting little fact. And it's pertinent because we're talking about that card and it has it on it. So we're going to now take our adhesive again, and there we go. And that's pretty simple. That is that insert. So we'll put that one into our Trevor's notebook. Now, we're not done this month, you guys. There's one more thing that we're going to do. We are going to make a pocket. And this is something that you could either slide into one of your existing inserts around the band, or if you have extra bands in your Trevor's notebook that you're not using, like this example here, you could have the pocket, and that's the only thing that's going around the band. So let's take a look at what it looks like first, and then we will, we'll make it. So here's my pocket. One piece of paper, and you guys, this is so easy to make. It's just one piece of paper, a 12 by 12 piece of paper that we are going to make into this pocket. Now, as we are making that, let's start with this piece of paper that we cut. This piece we cut, it's 12 by 10. And the reason that we cut it to 10 was because 10, actually let me go this way, 12 by 10. The reason that we cut it to 10 was because 10 is double the width of 5, and 5 is the width of the carbadium inserts that I use. These inserts are known as standard wide. So a standard traveler's notebook insert is 8 1/4 by 4 1/4, and standard wide is 8 1/4 by 5. So these are 3/4 of an inch wider. And you guys, if you've been working with these, you know that that extra 3/4 of an inch, if you've ever worked with the regular standard insert, is really nice to have. So 5, that's why we do 10. So I'm going to take this and I am going to fold it in half, but I'm going to do our technique that I showed you in March, where I'm actually I'm not going to fold it. You can fold it if you happen to have one of these scoring boards. I like to use a score pal because when I use a score pal, it makes sure that it is even. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fold it backwards. I'm going to score it backwards. It's 10. I want that in half. So I'm going to score it backwards because the reason I remember I scored it backwards is because I don't want that the fibers to break. Like we saw, I kind of showed you guys how to fold it on the, actually, we would do this. But I think with a score pal, it doesn't matter as much because it kind of gives it a, nope, I did it the wrong way. Well, I didn't do it the wrong way. Don't be scared. I just should have scored it the other way. Anyhow, it's all good because actually, you know what, you guys, this is funny. It doesn't even matter because this inside is going to be on the inside of our band. So don't worry about how you fold it. Okay, so we are folding it in half. So it's 10 wide. We're scoring or folding it in half at 5. Then we want to, it is 12. So we talked about the standard height of our insert is 8 1/4. So we're going to want to score this at 8 1/4. Now, I don't have an easy 1/4 inch mark on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to bring in this and use it as a ruler. I'm not cutting. Don't cut, right? I want 8 1/4. So I'm not cutting, not cutting. Oh, look it is this, just so happens to be this little, there's a good kind of divider right there. Anyhow, I know you can't see that probably, so let me get that out of the way. And all I did was I measured 8 1/4. So this is 8 1/4, and then that is what, 3 3/4. And I want to score it right there or fold it. So I'm just going to put that on a spot where I can score that already has a mark. And I'm going to score right there. Okay, so now, get that out of the way. Now I'm going to fold that up at the score. Okay, so that is the base of my pocket. Right? If I put that in there that way, really, that could be my pocket, right? That could be my pocket. That is basically what we're doing to start. So what I want to do is I'm going to just trim this down a little bit because there's a little guys sticking off to the side there. So I'm just going to use my scissors and trim those down. All right, now we're going to open back up. If I wanted, I wouldn't have to do this next step. So I want you guys to kind of watch what I'm going to do, and then you can decide if you want your pocket to look like this or not. If I wanted my pocket to be closed, not have any openings, I would now go ahead and put my adhesive here and here. But let me show you what I did. I wanted my pocket to have these openings here, so it'd be really easy to just slide things in, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this back up and I'm going to fold it back like this, okay? So I opened it up, I fold it back like this, and I am going to come over, I'm going to say about 3/4 of an inch right here, and make a little mark, and then I am going to, I haven't measured this and I haven't drawn a line, I'm just going to free cut it. If that freaks you out, you can draw a line with the pencil and then follow that line. So I just cut that out. Now the thing that's really important here is you notice, I did that along the fold edge. I didn't do it along the open edge, I did along the fold edge. So let's do that again. I was open, I folded it closed with the closed edge on my left. I started about 3/4 of an inch in and cut up until that fold, right? You can see that I stopped at the fold. So let's open that back up. Now when I open that up and I put both of those pieces up, now I have my pockets that I can get in. So I have to close my pockets or stuff's going to fall out the side, right? So now I'm just going to take my tape runner and do that. And come back over to this side and do that. Okay, so now I have, oops, now I have a pocket. If you have red line tape, and it depends on what you're going to put in these pockets and how full you're going to make them. If you have red line tape, and red line tape comes in different widths. There's some that's really skinny. There's some that's actually like double this width. But you could use red line tape here instead. And the red line tape would then just make sure that those really stay closed. Now, if you wanted, you could leave your pocket like this. But I like to round the corners of my pocket. So what I'm doing is I have 2 different corner rounders here. This one is my favorite. It's a crocodile corner chomper. It's by We Are Memory Keepers. And some of their tools do many, many different things. This tool only does 2 things. Actually, it only does 1 thing, but it does it 2 different ways. The only thing it does is it rounds corners. It rounds with a 1/4 inch round or a 1/2 inch round. And I like the 1/2 inch round. So all I do is open that up and I put my corners in there. Now, there's lots of different corner rounders out there, you guys. This one has a 1 inch round, and this is made by EK Success. You can find those at your local scrapbook store. You can find them at craft stores. You can find them online at Amazon, whatever it is. But I like this one because it is super heavy duty. You can round chipboard with this. You can round a lot of thick things. So what you're going to see, okay, you guys, as I was saying, what you're going to see me do, and then, oh, I just had a panic attack because I happened to look under at the camera and saw that it was no longer recording. And I thought that I had completely lost the entire hour-long video, and I thought I was going to have to start all over again, which makes it a little bit harder because I've just used an entire kit to put this together. So Very happy to say that I did not lose it. For some reason, it was just not there for a little bit, and then it popped up. So what I was saying is, what you're going to see me do is, because this is a super thick corner rounder, I am able to round the corners of the folded pieces together. I don't have to open them up, especially down here as it gets a little bit thicker, because it's actually cutting or chomping through really 4 pieces because it's folded and then folded, the front and back. That was super easy for me to do. Now this guy is not quite even, so let's fix him. All right, so there, now I have my pocket. And the reason I rounded all the corners, I rounded these corners too, so that when this goes into our traveler's notebook, it's a little bit easier for that elastic to be there with it. So, right, it doesn't stress that point so much. If it was, since it's just paper, if it was straight, it would kind of bend because it's a little bit taut. So I can put that either right here in one of my rings, or not my rings, in one of my, through one of my elastics. But if I didn't want to waste one of my elastics, maybe I don't have room. I can also put that through one of my elastics that, that my insert is through, okay? And actually that guy, I need to trim that off. Anyhow, so there you have it. There is a, the pocket that we made, and with that pocket, you could, boy, you can make tons of those just out of regular scrapbook paper, which I think is kind of fun. One last thing I want to show you. So for March, I showed you what I did with my calendar, my March calendar. So I'm going to grab that out. Here, and I will show you April. So if you are deciding that you want to use a monthly insert for your calendar in your traveler's notebook, super simple again, and I've just added a couple of different stickers. And you know what, you guys, I don't get hung up on, oh my gosh, what if I need to put something there on Friday? It's decorative, it's cute, and it's fun, but if you wanted to wait until, you know, to actually put your stickers down after you had filled out your calendar, you could. Here, I didn't have a sticker for the border, but you know what I did have? The product strips. I had the product strips from both of those papers. So that's what I did. I made little washi strips out of those little papers. Isn't that cute? Now, I still have more stickers here that, oh, actually I shouldn't say that. This was my stickers from, I need my stickers from my sample, so I could show you what I had left over if I still wanted to add. But anyhow, I had just started filling in some of the dates and added some stickers. So I would, as April gets closer, I would finish adding the dates and start filling out my calendar. Okay, friends, that is the April Traveler's Notebook Kit. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned some fun things this month. And remember the little add-ons. So if you didn't get a little add-on pencil pouch later, or last time with this kit, I still have those available. So if you would like to order one of those, just shoot me an email, and we can either ship now or ship with your next kit. And that goes the same for the inserts. And if you need a new traveler's notebook, I always carry those as well. And you can find all of that at laylebymail.com. Thanks, friends, and we'll see you again, hopefully, for May. Take care. Bye-bye.